you back in, John. We've got a question that's come in from the audience from Table Noteboom, who says, might a shift towards sustainable and locally driven business models in the Arctic contribute to long-term economic resilience? Well, there is that shift, that's what you may think, but obviously we've heard from Nagruk about the concerns about actually how long-term resilience might be not for some communities by this shift if there isn't a real strategic plan to make sure that when oil and gas opportunities fall away, there is already opportunities for green energy set up and ready to get going.
Mm-hmm. It's a very, very complex problem, because one of the things that, I think we certainly don't talk often enough, especially at an international stage, is all the challenges and the group mentioned this, all the challenges of poverty, abject poverty, not just fiscal poverty, but the poverty in terms of outcomes, health, education, and everything like that. And there's so many of those gaps that exist. So also having to contemplate a transition, meaning to reskill, to consider different economies, to be entrepreneurial, are that much more challenging and complex. And so how do we address, the issues of the day that are historically informed in terms of some of those socioeconomic gaps, but at the same time build the resilience, the capacity, the competence, the capability, so that communities can pivot quickly, which is being requested of them, policy is being asked of them, especially communities very much where their economies are reliant on things like oil and gas. Something we work with a lot of workers and businesses, a lot of them said, we've just become competitive. We've just finally been able to, figure things out where not necessarily competitive, but at least being able to make a living, a livelihood. And now I have to figure out how I'm going to do this in addition to dealing with, I think, a lot of the things that local communities, struggle with. In the Indigenous communities, so suicide ideation is multiples higher. Educational disparities are multiples higher than the average population. And so we've got all these issues, and then think about, what does policy look like to support, not drive those issues even further and drive those gaps further, but what does policy look like so that we can support, reskill, move into different economies, be entrepreneurial, look at our market opportunities, and then pivot, and then be successful and still continue to grow and thrive as communities. And I think a lot of local communities are worried about some of those issues as well too, because they don't have the benefits of urbanization, of the infrastructure, and so those issues are compounded, much more complex, and I think need to be understood and appreciated, not just at the international, but even just at the local, the national, the government level, the organization, the corporate level. I think they need to be understood in great detail. So.
Thank you, John. And picking up on that entrepreneurship theme, and just how crucial has it